What's up? You got your boy Dyreck AKA Native Shades reminding you to like and subscribe. Because today we're going to be talking about top five hip-hop samplers of all time. Hip-hop is nearing 50 years old. And, you know, throughout all the great songs we love in this genre of music, what would you say are the top 5 samplers of all time? Well, let's go through the list, shall we? Sampler number 1 is the Emu SP1200. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the SP1200 gots to be up there. This sampler kind of ushered a wave of like the boom bap music. Now, it wasn't the only sampler used to create that boom bap sound, but it was definitely up there. The SP1200 was always desired because of its ease of use. You know, you got 8 pads, you could manipulate the start and end point of a sound by messing with the sliders. Just a dope piece of gear. The SP1200, even its limitations created dope workarounds, like when folks would speed up a record, then sample it into the SP1200 and slow it down to save on sample time. Like, stuff like that is just incredible. And another thing that was great about the SP1200, and most samplers back then, was that just by you having it, you had a job. Because not a lot of folks could afford these things or had these things. So the ones that did, listen, a record company or an artist, they're reaching out to you. So definitely, yes, the SP1200 is up there as far as the top 5 hip-hop samplers of all time. Next up is the MPC60. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Akai, the MPC60. And it wasn't so much of how dynamic this sampler was or all the features on the 60, but it was pretty much as far as it being the trendsetter as far as how samplers should be. The MPC60, the 16 pad layout, is now like universally recognized as this is how a drum sampler should look, or anything that has pads on it, they want that 16 pad layout. The MPC60 also gave you that Mike Tyson punch out sound, you know, real crunchy and just dusty. A boom bapper's dream. And the MPC60 pretty much brought in the kind of Akai MPC workflow, the workflow that takes you from A to Z and just guides you in the way of making a beat. The whole sampling a sound, putting it on a pad, creating a sequence, going into song mode and arranging it, that whole workflow just makes you understand how to make a beat. So the MPC60 is definitely up there as far as the top 5 hip-hop samplers of all time. Next up, yo, I believe that's me, ASR, get on the mic for the symphony. Next up is the Ensonic ASR10. Yes, the keyboard sampler of choice for hip-hoppers. I mean, just being able to use a keyboard sampler makes you create music differently. It just makes your mind work in a different way when creating your beat. And you know, the ASR sounds great as far as the filter sounds on it and just the sound of the unit. It's regarded as being radio ready. And the ASR10, as far as the producers that used it, it's so diverse as far as the ranges. Like you got a guy like Timbaland making bounce music, all the way to a guy like RZA making grimy, gritty Saturday morning kung fu flick beats. I mean, the ASR10 is just awesome. So now we're coming down a home stretch. It's getting a little bit difficult. Like you would expect the ASR10, the MPC60, and the SP1200 to be in somebody's top hip-hop samplers list. So what are the other 2? Well, here's one of them, and that is the Akai S950. Now, in reality, it's the Akai S series period, but the S950 especially, because it was used in unison with the SP1200 and the MPC60. Like, you gotta remember the S950 was used as the sampler. It was the sound generator. People disregarded the sound of the SP1200 and the MPC60 and said, hey, we're just gonna use those as sequencers to sequence the music coming out of this S950. The S950's legendary low-pass filter. People think some kind of wizard just sprinkled magic dust on the machine and just made the filter sound so dope. The S950 had key groups and more sample time. Back then, everybody was using 5 seconds of sample time or 10 seconds. The S950 was capable of bringing you like over 3 minutes of sample time, which was important at the time to hip-hop producers. So definitely, the S950's gotta be up there as one of the greatest hip-hop samplers of all time. And last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, as far as the top 5 greatest hip-hop samplers of all time is Pro Tools. Yes, Pro Tools. And pretty much any sampler in it or way you want to sample, you choose to use. You gotta put Pro Tools in the conversation. Pro Tools changed the way that, people looked at music, period. The whole software application of music, it really just changed the game. I remember in like the late 90s, if your studio did not have Pro Tools in it, you was considered an amateur. But that was the case for a lot of folks. Pro Tools definitely changed the game. The fact that you could use this DAW and make a beat with it, record an artist's vocals on it, arrange it on the DAW, mix, master, do all of that on the software itself was incredible. So Pro Tools gotta be up there as one of the top 5 hip-hop samplers of all time, right? What's your thoughts? What would you consider are the top 5 hip-hop samplers of all time? Let me know in the comments section. So this is your boy Dyreck, aka Native Shades, reminding you to go download that free Synth City sound library. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'm signing off.